So hi guys, Alex here, vlogging to you from an unspecified location off of the Swedish coast as I go on a bit of a Sunday afternoon adventure. Now, this is a little bit of a taster or a teaser for episode 5, Västervik part 2. But I wanted to kind of give you a little bit of a crystal ball into the future, well, into my future, at least a week or so ahead, just as lovable Niall Ferguson gave us all a crystal ball when he made a prediction of 500,000 deaths in the UK. So this is your very own crystal ball into where my thinking is now kind of resolving. My ruminations and my reflections are taking me to a place where I think the critical issue, or at least a key issue, if not the issue, is one of organisational behaviour. And this anecdote that I recorded during the course of the Västervik Part 5 episode takes me back many, many moons in a kind of an epiphany moment into the past when I was on a business MBA. And a very interesting thing happened to me. Why? How is it that the globe has found itself in, I don't know, a pan-galactic kind of lockdown situation that's never been experienced in the history of civilization? I have a theory. In fact, I had a little bit of epiphany about a week or 10 days ago, and what came to mind was an experience I had at a business school. This is Cranfield Business School. I did an executive MBA there a number of years ago now, and it was all very business-like, and there were accounts modules, and there were public speaking and presentation skills, and there was a legal course, and it was highly intensive as well, and there was a range of people, range of ethnicities, sexes, and seniority in terms of the managers, the captains of industry. Anyway, on one particular weekend, they piled us off into a hotel. They drove us off into a hotel in the country. And there we were, 100 of us. And this was the organisational behaviour module. It was quite a weird module. It sort of stood out and nobody took it very seriously. Anyway, we found ourselves in a big conference hall in this hotel, about 100 of us. And on the Friday night, we'd arrived, we'd unpacked and etc., met at breakfast, and we'd been told by the tutors that the start time was 10 o'clock. So we all gathered in this hall, and it was 10 o'clock, and there were a few latecomers, and there was some chit-chattering, and then about 10 minutes in, there was less chit-chat, and then 15 minutes, people were starting to wonder what was going on. Didn't seem to be any tutors taking charge. We weren't about to be spoon-fed with some presentation or some slide projection or whatever it was that we were being subjected to. We weren't told what was going to happen. And then what was interesting was, by the 25-minute mark, people started to get anxious. And certain individuals stood up and started to talk to the rest of the group. On the one hand, there was an individual who said that this was ridiculous and we should all pack up and drive home. It was a waste of time. This was a business MBA about nothing else, teaching the skills of delegation and time management. And then there was another group who felt that, well, no, this is obviously somehow, we don't know why, this is somehow part of the training. And after about 45 minutes, you had a situation where there were two groups in the hall, stood up, either sides, and one group was slightly bigger, and gradually the smaller group, people started to leave the smaller group. The arguments were by now quite, robust, and tempers were frayed, and eventually that group diminished down to about 3, 4, or perhaps 5. I was actually one of the members of the group, and what I experienced was this incredible kind of powerful tractor beam magnetic pull to move towards the bigger group. It was something deeply primal. It wasn't rational. It might have made sense, it might not. But it felt as if the die had been cast. I can't even remember now which group went with which, argument. And it didn't really matter at that stage. The bigger group, the herd, was sort of requiring everybody to join it. And anybody who didn't was an alien and an outsider. And we felt, if nothing else, we felt alien and outside. So there it is. I think it's something I'd like to explore. In fact, I've had one of your good selves send me a few links and one particularly interesting article about the groupthink nature of what's going on, the social global herd knee-jerk reaction to a perceived crisis. This is perhaps quite an interesting train of inquiry to explore the solution to the mystery, the mysterious affair of COVID-19 from that perspective. So yeah, stay tuned. Episode 5, Vastovic, Part 2 will be out over the next 48 hours. And thank you for your attention and your support.